Welcome to Nurse 602 Midwifery Perspectives. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you, and I just want to give you a brief overview of the course so you have a big picture of what's coming up for the upcoming weeks. So our goals for the course are that the students will be able to complete the following: explain the history, purpose, and function of the American College of Nurse Midwives, or the ACNM, discuss historical perspectives that led to the development of nurse midwifery in the United States, examine trends in nurse midwifery education, licensing, and services, analyze societal influences on the profession of nurse midwifery, and consider strategies to support inclusivity and anti-racist practices based on consideration of the historical and current impact on discrimination in healthcare and the profession of midwifery. Course overview. So our course actually runs for 14 weeks. However, we only have 12 weeks of content because we have break weeks in week 6 and week 13. The weekly flow of our course will be similar to other classes in the program, Monday to Sunday. Forms are due on Thursday night. That's your initial forum post. Those are due Thursday night. All other assignments and forum replies are due Sunday night. So quizzes, papers, etc. are due Sunday nights at midnight. The texts that are required for this course, our primary text is The Midwife Said, Fear Not, and that goes over the history of midwifery in the United States, includes lay midwives, certified nurse midwives, etc. Our second text that we'll be using most commonly is Birthing Justice, Black Women, Pregnancy, and Childbirth. And that really goes over a combination of facts and statistics and real-life stories and gives a good foundation of some topics that we'll be discussing. Next, we have a small pamphlet type text called Into the Light of Day, and that is about midwives of color in the American College of Nurse Midwives. And finally, Witches, Midwives, and Nurses. Birthing Justice and the Witches, Midwives, and Nurses texts are both available in the Bethel Library as like electronic downloads if you don't want to actually purchase a physical copy. Our weekly breakdown, week 1, we're going to focus on racism and white privilege as societal influences impacting midwifery and women's health. In week 2, we'll cover what is a midwife and specifically what your thoughts are on that. In week 3, we'll discuss the history of midwives and the Middle Ages and beyond. Week 4, early midwifery beginnings in the United States, midwifery beginnings in the U.S. South, and then week 6, we have a break week. Week 7, we'll come back and talk about current manifestations of racism and inequality in reproductive health care. Week 8 is Midwifery Legacies Project, or the Midwifery History Paper, and we'll talk about that here shortly. It's an assignment that's coming up. Week 9, we'll cover providers and sites of perinatal care. Week 10 is the history of the ACNM. Week 11, we'll cover international midwifery. Week 12, the history of midwifery education in the United States. And week 13, we have another break week, and then 14, we'll come back and wrap things up. Our major assignments in this class, the first one is due pretty quick in week 4, and that's actually a group project. You'll actually pick a topic, and then your group will make a presentation and write a quiz to go with it. That'll be submitted, and then I'll distribute the quizzes later on when those topics come up in the semester. The second big project is the Midwifery Legacies Project, or a Midwifery History Paper. And the history paper is basically like a book report. You could get an autobiography and write basically a book report on the history of that nurse midwife and how she impacted the profession. Also, the ACNM it's currently on hold, a program called the Midwifery Legacies Project. And that's available to students who are members of the ACNM. You can contact the ACNM and they will connect you with a senior midwife. You can do an interview with them and then write a reflective essay. When the program was active, and I'm not sure when that's going to return to active status, I know it was stopped for COVID, those essays were submitted and actual scholarships were awarded for outstanding essays. So that would be a great program, especially if it becomes available again in the future. And in week 10, there's a forum, but you can opt out of that forum if you have attended any ACNM meetings. That doesn't mean you physically need to go to a meeting or attend a big conference, but you could just attend a state chapter meeting, so you can check on your state and see about their ACNM chapter when they have meetings. Oftentimes those are virtual as well, and then you could just write a little reflective paper on how that meeting went, what they covered, etc. There are more instructions in week 10 of the course for you to look at. Lastly, this is the breakdown of our course scores. So forums are 35% of your grade. Papers, journal entries, etc. are 25% of your grade. The group project that I discussed is 35%, and then the quizzes, which are written by your peers, is a 5% weight to your overall score. So I look forward to getting to know you. If you have questions, please feel free to contact me. Take care.